Hello everyone, Lurgs here, and today it's what to do if your Hisense washing machine is not draining water. When you do a washing program, it should wash all your laundry, and at the end it does a rinse and spin and drains all the water. Now if that is not happening, that means you've got an issue with your washing machine or your drainage. What we'll do in this video is check the filter, then clean the filter, put that all back. Hopefully that fixes your problem and we can run a drum clean. If that still hasn't fixed the problem, then we'll check the drainage pipework. And there's generally two different types of drainage pipework, and I'll cover both of those in this video. The first thing you must do is switch off the washing machine at the mains and unplug it. Then you need to isolate the cold water mains. Your inlet hose for your washing machine should have a tap on it. If you can locate this, then just turn that 90 degrees and that just stops the water. If you can't find that, then you can turn it off at your main stopcock. It's a good idea to know where your main stopcock is anyway, in case you've got a plumbing emergency. If you still can't find that, then you need to go out into the street and isolate the water in your street. But don't do that if you live in a block of flats, obviously, because you'll be cutting everybody's water off. If you've got any excess water inside your washing machine drum, carefully open the drum door and get as much of that out as you can using a sponge. Now what we'll do is we'll check the filter on the Hisense washing machine. Now the filter on this washing machine is down here on the bottom right hand side. Take the end of a blunt instrument. I've just got this small teaspoon because I've just had a lovely cup of tea. Open that flap and that is where the filter is. And the filter is also known as the coin catcher, and in here you may find things like hair clips, coins, hair bands, elastic bands, face masks and colour catchers, and these can easily block up your filter and stop it draining. Just a word of warning, even if you've emptied the drum of water, you will still get lots of water out of this filter area, so make sure you've got an old towel and some sponges, and this water can be very stinky. Now to remove the filter, you're just gently turning it anti-clockwise. Now if you've got something stuck in there firm, you may find that it doesn't turn properly, or it will just undo a little bit and then it will just get stuck. In that case, just tighten it back up again and then undo it, tighten it up, undo it, and whatever is blocking the filter may just work its way loose and allow you to undo the filter. Now don't undo the filter completely all the way because you will get lots of water out. It's best just to undo it a little bit, let some water drain out, and then soak it up with your sponge and your towel. Now on some washing machines, not on this particular model, you may actually have a drainage hose which you can pull out and drain into a small bucket. But on this particular one, it literally is just coming straight out of the filter. So I'm just going to undo the filter very slowly, let some water drain out into this sponge, and then squeeze that sponge out in the sink. And just keep performing that step. If you can, what you can do is you could pull out your washing machine and then tilt it backwards, but obviously washing machines are very heavy and then you run the risk of pulling out any pipework at the back. So just some old towels and a sponge should be good enough. And now I've got an old tea towel as well. I'm just undoing it again. Brilliant, so there's not much water coming out now, hardly any at all. So let's just gently pull the filter out. And you can see why this one is slightly struggling to drain the water. We have got a bit of tangled up hair in the filter mechanism there. And as I mentioned at the beginning, you may have things like metal hair clips in here, stuck coins. And that is what the filter is designed for, just to pick up any bits of debris. So that can go in the bin. Now this washing machine is fairly new, but you may find that filter area is really stinky, really stinking water. in which case I would advise doing a drum clean option at the end. Just buy some drum cleaner, put that straight in the drum and run the drum clean option, and then take your partner's toothbrush and just give that a really good scrub with some hot soapy water. I'm actually using my wife's toothbrush.
Lurgs, have you been using my toothbrush for cleaning the washing machine again?
Really useful these are. And before you put the filter back in, it's definitely worth checking inside here to make sure there's no debris inside. If there is, give that a good clean out with your partner's toothbrush.
Lurgs.
And just make sure that that impeller at the back just spins round. It won't spin completely freely, but it should spin relatively easily. If you've got any debris in there, obviously just get as much of that out as you can. And now we're ready to put the cleaned filter back in, so just gently line it up. And then you're turning it clockwise to lock it in, and then just keep turning it. Only ever do it with your hands, don't ever try to use pliers because you may actually break it. Just give that a bit of a dry with a tea towel, close that flap, or if you like, when you run your next washing program, leave that flap open just to make sure you haven't got any leaks. And then I'd definitely recommend running a drum clean option on this Hisense washing machine. Before we run the drum clean, remember to plug the washing machine back in and switch it on, and also remember to switch back on the cold water inlet feed for your washing machine. And I just put this Dr. Beckman's washing machine powder inside the drum and run a drum clean option, and hopefully that will just clean it all through and keep it hygienically fresh. If that still hasn't worked, what we'll do now is check the drainage pipework. There's generally two types of drainage pipework on your washing machine, one which goes in under the sink or one which goes into a U-bend at the back of your washing machine. If your washing machine isn't near the sink, it likely has drainage pipework like this at the back, so you'll need to pull out your Hisense washing machine. Just pull it out very gently, because obviously you don't want to stretch any of the pipework at the rear. And on here you'll have your drainage hose and your cold water inlet feed. Now this is where your drainage goes from your washing machine into this U-bend. So gently remove that pipe, get rid of any excess water. There will be quite a bit of water in there, but if you've got lots of gunk and gunge, give that a good clean with some hot soapy water and just clear any blockages. And then what you can do is take your camera on your mobile phone with the flash on and just do a video recording down inside that tube to see if that's blocked up. This one is actually pretty good, I can see clear water, but if that was full of gunge, you can remove those screws and empty that U-bend. Now here's an example of one which is pretty disgusting. This is how they can get. Now to remove this U-bend, hopefully somebody hasn't glued the threads shut. You can just unscrew these and then gently remove it. Make sure you've got old towels and rags and sponges and trays to catch any water. So this one has been removed. And actually this is looking pretty good, although it's a bit stinky. There's actually no blockages in this. If there is, just give that a really good clean, put any gunk and gunge in the dustbin and then clean that out with some hot soapy water. Then just to reinstall it, just line that up and then tighten those up. Only ever do those hand tight, don't ever be tempted to use a tool on those. Then remember to put your drainage hose from the washing machine back into there, otherwise you're going to get a flooded floor next time you do a washing machine program. Now the other style of drainage hose will go in under your sink, and there'll normally be a clip or a cable tie clipping it on. This one's got a metal spring clip, so I'm just going to use a pair of pliers to squeeze that. Gently slide that away.
So we'll just slide away back to the ocean.
That then releases the rubber hose.
Back to the city lights.
Make sure you've got a tray or a bucket ready to catch any water or any gunk and gunge. Then just gently slide that off. Again, you're checking for any gunk and gunge, any blockages. This one is actually pretty good, so this can go back on. And then remember to put the clip on. If you haven't got a clip, you can just use a cable tie. Now, like I showed you a couple of minutes ago, you can remove this U-bend, see if there's any blockages in there or any sludge. It's exactly the same as the previous one that we just did. So just give that a really good clean. Now we're ready to run a drum clean. Remember to plug the washing machine back in and turn on the cold water feed if you hadn't already done that earlier. If you did it at the main stopcock, turn the main stopcock all the way on, but a top tip, when it's fully open, turn it back very slightly. That stops it seizing up if you don't use it for a long time. Then put some Dr. Bettman's washing machine cleaner inside the drum and run a drum clean option. And that will give your washing machine a really good clean, keep it hygienically fresh and flush out any dirt and debris and make it come out sparkling clean, and hopefully the washing machine is draining correctly. A top tip after a wash, leave the detergent drawer slightly open and the drum door open to help with ventilation. If you've still got a problem and your washing machine is not draining, it could be that you've got a blockage in your outside drainage, so you may have to go outside and check that, or you may have a faulty pump or a faulty computer board on your washing machine. But hopefully it is all fixed and your Hisense washing machine is working properly. And I tell you what, that definitely deserves a lovely cup of tea. I hope that was useful.
Once upon a time it was paradise. Once upon a time I was paralyzed. Think I'm gonna miss these harbour lights, but now it's time to let it go.
I'll put some other useful Hisense washing machine videos around the edge of the screen. I think my career as a singer is over and it hadn't even started.